What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome back to 20 Talk 20. I'm your host, Ern B.
Hey, this is Steph Diarco.
This is your boy Dre.
I don't know where King Karim is at. Probably working as usual, but he'll be back with us sometime next week. First and foremost, it's been a while. How you guys been?
Good, man. Busy.
Been busy.
Working.
As usual.
Man.
The end of the semester came and I'm back in summer school. So, working. Just working.
Getting it and doing the radio.
Yeah, I'm doing the radio station. I'm doing summer school. I'm working. And yeah.
And family. Like, don't forget that. And family. I gotta
That's part
ask
of the
you.
package. That's part of the package.
Right. So I gotta ask you, as the summer approaches, what's the kids gonna be doing?
Well, I signed them up for some summer sports for 2 days a week. So we'll be doing tennis. We'll be doing not soccer, but like track and field sports and things like that. So we'll be doing that for 2 days a week.
Okay.
And then I'll be going to the radio station on 1 day a week, and then I'll be working the other days. So that's really how I'm going to be.
School. The kids got summer school.
Oh, and the kids got summer school. So, but it's
they
remote.
They messed up or by choice?
Both. They messed up by choice.
Seriously? Oh, man. Do they get whippings for that, or is it just...
No, because I think it's just an understanding on all parts about it was just a rough school year, trying to get everything back to normal, a loss of motivation, not trying to do work, trying to be home and things like that. So it's just a compilation of not being in school for 2.5 years and then throwing yourself back and starting over. It's not the same. So that's how it was.
That's real, because I'll tell you like this, man. At least you guys are blessed financially, unlike Amber Heard over here. Because
I don't know if we're blessed financially, but I'm hoping I don't have the same problems as Homegirl does.
Oh, man. So, look, let's just get into the quick news.
So I guess I'm going to win a lawsuit if I sue you for defamation?
Defamation. So, Johnny, you stupid. Johnny, I just know what he just said. So, look, Johnny Depp got his redemption. If you were under a rock living and you just didn't feel like picking up the rock, everybody should know Johnny Depp and Amber Heard got a divorce in 2016, but after that, it still went left completely, continuously up until 3 days ago, till everything was finally done. So, in a nutshell, the Me Too movement still exists. Amber Heard claims that Johnny used to hit her with the rings, with the Thanos rings, and none of that happened.
Hit her with the Thanos.
Literally none of that happened.
Right.
So I want to ask you, Oracle, on with the Me Too movement still existing, that's going nowhere. We all know that. There's some people who were guilty. There's some people who are actually innocent but lost their jobs and they can't get it back. What's your take on Amber Heard ever working again?
Done.
In Hollywood, anyway.
The thing is that there is such a thing as a blacklist. You're blacklisted from working ever again in some capacity in the acting field. So for her, was she ever famous before that? Not really. So I don't really think it's a big loss for Hollywood. I mean that in the most utmost respect, but she wasn't like, what I would say, like Scarlett Johansson. Like she was popping before. Now you have this big following and things like that. She was just famous because of Aquaman? I don't know. What did you know about her before Aquaman? What did you know that she was in?
Oh, nothing.
There you go.
Nothing, except for
it's
Johnny
not a
Depp's
big
wife.
loss. So it's not a big loss in terms of her ever working again. She could be a producer. She could be a writer. She could be however she wants to do. But I don't think that she'll ever get back into acting because I don't really think she was ever popular in the beginning. So in the first place. So.
Right. Dirty. What's your take?
She's done. That's it. I don't care for her. I liked her in Aquaman visually, but other than that, that's it. She's done.
Visually? What do you mean visually?
With the red hair, she looks sexy in Aquaman.
That's what did it for you.
That's what did it for me. Like I didn't know who she was before that. So
that's precisely what I just
said. But then now
said.
everybody knows she lost her exposure time in the movie, the second one. I think it's down to like less than 10 minutes or possibly none. We won't know until we see the movie.
No, but I'm saying Payback's a bitch. Payback is a bitch.
No, it wasn't done over. They just cut her lines out.
That's confirmed?
Yeah, it's been
Is
confirmed.
that confirmed?
Damn.
Yeah, she went from having a big role in the movie down to 10 minutes. And then now possibly her whole role's been scrapped.
Ern, I don't know about you, but that was the same thing that happened with Johnny Depp. When this whole defamation case started, he got cut from the Harry Potter movie. So he got completely
and Pirates of the
replaced.
Caribbean, yep. Yeah, during that time he was filming.
He was filming at that time.
The Beastly, whatever the movie name is.
The Fantastic Beast.
That long
Waverly
name.
Beast.
No, get Waverly
That
Beast.
long,
The
long name.
Fantastic Beast.
Fantastic Beast.
Fantastic
Yeah,
Beast.
so he was filming at that time and he got replaced with another actor.
Yeah,
That was just like,
Max Michelson.
yeah. So, like, payback's a bitch. That's really what that is. Payback's a bitch.
Well, Johnny Depp got paid anyway.
Yeah, he
So
did.
he's still in
Absolutely.
that's
normal.
true. That's true.
He
He
kept the
still
check.
got paid.
Yeah, he got his
That's-
check. They just paid
right.
him off. And all right, that's it.
And because
Yeah,
you know,
but
like,
then it's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
no,
Amber
it's
Heard's
definitely not
gonna-
the same.
She probably got like $10,000 for her role in Aquaman.
But think about it. Like, Johnny Depp is one of those guys where, you know, in the first movie, when they took off the mask and we found out that it was Johnny Depp who's going to be the bad guy moving forward, everybody in the theater was just going crazy.
Nuts. Yeah, nuts.
It was just like, yo, like, what? Like, we were locked in. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean all over again. Probably, 3 more movies, maybe. Who knows, right?
Who knows? Yeah, at this.
As soon as that happened, it was devastating. It was devastating. That guy has like 20 minds, yo, because his range of acting is insane. And so, but he got what he's supposed to get. Well, it was supposed to be 50 million, but I think he'll take the 10.5
Was that what he
million.
was asking for? 50 million?
Yeah, 50
Oh,
million.
he was. Damn.
Yeah. So, because, you know, when the jury came out, it was like 2 out of 3. So he was good for 2 out of 3. And then, you know, how the numbers worked in Virginia, because that's where they was at in court, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're going to see what Johnny Depp's going to do. We're going to be patiently waiting. You know what I mean?
Will he be blacklisted?
Yeah. Say that again?
Will he be blacklisted?
Nah.
No. Why?
Nah.
Because Johnny
Well,
Depp
he
was
already
famous
was blacklisted.
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
but
he
now
did
they're like,
himself.
How was he blacklisted before?
Because of
this divorce or because of
this
something
case.
else?
No, because of the defamation case.
Well,
yeah, because of the divorce and what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was
He
it.
got
This was,
blacklisted.
because you got to think about it, guys. We've never heard nothing negative about Johnny Depp ever
Never.
since young. 21 Jump Street ever.
yeah. No. Unless he's really good at hiding it. But the whole point of it is that it's not fair that somebody's career has to suffer because of somebody else's lies. The same
Right.
thing applies to Amanda Heard. If Johnny was lying and things were not truthful, people pay for the price. And unfortunately, she has I think she was diagnosed as bipolar. So a lot of it comes from mental disease and some of her actions sometimes she can't control. So it's not an excuse, but it is one of the reasons why things happened the way they went down. It's really sad. Now you taking somebody's food out their mouth, you taking their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she appealed the case too, so she doesn't have the money to pay him.
But she's in the red.
She's in the red.
She's in. Yo,
She ain't in the black.
She probably thought she was gonna win. She probably
Right.
had like a list of everything she was gonna buy,
Right.
all the things she was gonna get. Now she can't get anything.
Oh my God. Party J was telling me, it was like that she still is responsible for paying back the $7 million charity that she was supposed to get from the divorce from Johnny Depp. So she's still responsible for that. So $7 million you're responsible for. Then you only get $2 million for punitive. And then Johnny Depp gets awarded what, 12?
No,
10.5
Okay.
10.3
So
million.
do the
or
math.
10.4.
You in the red anyway. You in the
Yeah.
red to begin with.
That's
You're already negative $7 million.
So weren't they divorced already?
to 2016.
2016.
So didn't he give her like did she win it like an award settlement, like go 50-50 or no?
I don't know. I never looked into it.
I
I'm
never
not
Because
really
gonna
if she's
did.
guess.
still responsible to give the $7 million, then that means he probably gave her something.
Right. But when you
But
think
through the
about
vote,
it, she had money to a degree because she did Aquaman. So Aquaman was a good movie. It sold. You probably get royalties and et cetera, et cetera. But don't get it twisted. It
She wasn't a superstar.
right. Exactly.
She wasn't
It
getting superstar
royalties
money.
like
I
right.
doubt it. She got. I'm pretty sure she got like low millions, not high millions, like
Right.
Jason Momoa.
No. She must have gotten paid. She must have gotten paid.
I think
That movie was good.
yeah, no, but I think she did well because
Yes,
I
I'm saying
always
she
tell
must have
people I
done
actually had
well
a
financially on that. Yeah.
yeah, I actually had an argument. Well, I wasn't arguing, but this young lady
We were having a
was.
discussion.
Yeah, we were having a discussion, but she kept getting loud, and I had to pull up the facts. So Superman, Man of Steel, what's his name? Man of Steel, who plays Superman.
He was the same Harry Cavill was in The Witcher.
Henry Cavill was in The Witcher. Should know that by now. So when he first got that major check, he got just about $2 million, right? But he's gonna make his money on the back end, which he made a lot. It surpassed over like 10, 15 million. So that was probably the same with her, and as well as Wonder.
She probably gained a good financial gain from that, and you know. Whatever the case may be, if she promised a charity $7 million, you probably should have just kept that to yourself. Like,
it says here her net worth was $8 million. Her salary for Aquaman was $2 million.
There it is.
That's before tax.
Right, right.
And it says here she might have to file for bankruptcy.
Oh, absolutely.
Because she doesn't have $50 million to give him.
Right. Right.
So
and you know what
drop
it is?
for Johnny Depp. Game over.
Mic drop, he said.
Mic drop.
What was the other thing that you were telling me? That meme, that stupid meme you showed me about Johnny Depp?
The memes.
The memes are starting. The meme city.
Really?
The meme generators.
I saw that one.
Can you see it?
I did see that one. Yeah. It's gonna get ridiculous.
It says Johnny Depp will always be remembered as the first man to win an argument with a woman.
Yeah, but what was your follow-up?
Legally.
he's the first.
My man won it legally.
Like Johnny, like you know what's funny? It's like Johnny, you didn't argue. Like Johnny, you didn't argue, you didn't scream, you didn't curse, and you won the argument. Wow!
And he lost a finger in the process.
Great job, man. Great job.
She threw a bottle at him, and it broke his finger. His finger was hanging, so they could only save up to here. So he lost this part right here.
Really?
Oh, for real?
He lost one of the part of his phalanges.
Wow.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's that bipolarism. It switches you up. That attitude, and it could get you. But unfortunately, I hope she finds help, and I hope that she gets the help that she needs, both financially and mentally, because, you know, mental health just passed, and we need all the help we can get, seriously, on all parts. Because I know Johnny Depp must have been affected mentally as well. Dealing with the defamation, dealing with, you know, financial.
Just dealing with her, period.
Just dealing with just that in general. You know what I mean? That's a lot.
She's trying to tarnish my name.
You know,
and his kids. Think about his kids looking at their father differently.
They even said it, like, because of all this, now his kids were getting harassed in school. They were getting bullied.
So sad.
You know, because of all these accusations, and that they were feeling it also. And they're innocent in all this.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've been on TikTok, but in the past couple of weeks, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Aquaman, this guy was
Chris Hemsworth does not play Aquaman.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
That's Thor.
That's Thor.
I mean...
It's been a minute, Ern. It's been a
minute. Too many 6'2" dudes. Pause. Out here making money, man.
Oh, man, keep track of height.
Yo.
He's not keeping track of them names.
There's too many of them, yo. Enough is enough, yo. Jason Momoa, right? So listen, on TikTok, he did the split screen watching Amber Heard talk about what Johnny Depp did. So he was over here watching her lie when they put on the little recording, and he was like, look at this ish. He was just laughing at her, yo. He was laughing at her. Like, it was almost, man, I can't wait for her to be gone off this movie. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, I can't wait.
I didn't even see that. You gotta send that. You gotta send it to the group chat.
He was doing like
that.
a play-by-play of what was happening.
I didn't even see that.
I didn't see the full video, but he was like commenting like, this is just disgusting. Look at her behavior. He was just commenting on it.
Yo, that's
Unfair.
crazy. I didn't even see that.
Unfair.
You gotta send that to the group chat because I didn't see that.
I got you. I'm gonna find it later, Will. But it's just, it's weird. Like, you know how much of a hit with this one situation the Me Too movement got? One major hit anyway. Again, I told you guys, like, there's certain women who did get caught in the lie before, but for those other actors or comedians or whatever, it wasn't as monumental as Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, how are we gonna believe you? You need receipts, all of them. But
yeah, it's sad. It's an unfortunate thing. A lot of people lie because either one, they want to protect themselves, or two, they don't want to be caught lying.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Or they just can't help it. So, you know, maybe in Amanda Heard's case, maybe she couldn't help it. So I'm not defending her, but I'm just saying that could be plausible reasons for her actions.
Yeah. Well, God bless them. God bless Johnny Depp, his kids, and everybody in this situation. So let's move forward. What else we got, Oracle?
The most recent news I got was Tatiana Miller, a Master P's daughter, recently passed away. I'm not sure really what was the cause of it, but it seems like it was related to substance abuse. When talking about substance abuse and drug overdose, it's so sad because so many people are afflicted with it. And again, like we mentioned it before, like May is mental health awareness. So it's always very interesting. It's always important to talk to people, talk to your family, use your people as resources to see, listen, if there's something's going on, it's always best to talk to somebody, even if it's not your family members, even if it's somebody professional, just you gotta talk to somebody because so young, such a lost her life so young. So really sad to hear about the story about Little Romeo. So that was like really sad to hear that, how they were all affected.
Yeah. A mother and a father losing a child.
So yeah, so young, yeah.
Only God knows. God bless the Miller family. They Master P wrote something. He's just grieving, but he's that's your child. That's your child. You always believe in the order of sequence, and life goes the way it's supposed to go. Unfortunately, it didn't happen at this moment. So God bless them. God bless them, man. So let's get to more high stakes power energy. Let's bring the vibe back moving forward because there's been so much with that quick news. It was a lot, to be honest. Just now, it's like damn after damn.
There's so much stuff going on in the news and we can't cover it all. So that's really,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But one good news that us three love right now, and if King Karim was here, he would absolutely love it. Stranger Things season 4.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yes.
Man. First and foremost, Robert Englund is back.
He's not back. He's just a little cameo.
He's back, man.
No.
They did. First of all, his
What is
birthday's
he
coming
back
up.
doing? Like,
Yeah, he wasn't back as
I
Freddy
think he's
Krueger.
back. I think this is it. You don't think this is the ultimate comeback for Robert Englund?
no.
Because the
No,
show's
really?
over after this.
The show's over after this.
Done.
He's done. It's done.
That's it. The 2 more episodes in July. That's it. It's done.
Done. If he's even reintroduced into the other.
No, it's done. They already introduced the story. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about why.
So it's like the last 2 episodes confirmed. There's no season 5.
Yeah, no more season 5. They announced it before a long time ago.
Yeah, they announced it way
That's
before
it.
that.
2 episodes. The first episode in July is going to be an hour and a half long,
Ooh.
and the final episode is going to be 2.5 hours long.
Oh, really?
Movie quality.
So, yeah, so it's going to be like
minutes.
4 hours.
Okay, so it's a movie.
Finale.
We're gonna watch a movie.
2 movies.
For the last
one
episode.
part
We're
two.
watching movies, bro. We ain't watching episodes. We're watching movies.
Yep.
We're watching movies.
Batman
Wow.
style. 2.5
Batman
hours
style.
long.
But before we get started with that, I want to tell everybody about 20 Talk, talking about all shows, movies, and everything in between. So I want you to go back and listen to those episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker Radio, Radio Public, iHeart, Pandora, Amazon, and CastBox. Listen and click on that follow button wherever you get your notifications on the latest episodes. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at 20 Talk 20. And don't forget to follow, like, and share on YouTube as well. So, talking about watching it on Netflix. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I think it's been like 2 summers.
2 summers.
We've waited for Stranger Things.
Wasn't it 1 summer or 2?
No.
Was it 2?
No, 2.
It was like
Dang.
2 summers.
2 summers of like, what the F, yo? Man,
Crazy.
let me tell you something, man.
They're perfecting their craft. That's what they were doing.
Exactly. Like
Like
they
making
put,
sure
what is
what
it,
would've
10,000 hours in? Like, it was a great situation for me. But you know what, Dirty? Let's start off with you, man. Dig into this. What did you like most about it? And did you have any surprises?
One thing that I always say is that the music makes the show or movie. That soundtrack is crazy.
You like the soundtrack,
I
huh?
like the soundtrack, and just like you see, I like the fact that now that they're in high school. Now it's a whole different playing field. They're encountering new bullies,
Right.
new everything. Like now you see how Lucas doesn't blend in. He's not part of the Hellfire Club. Well, he is behind the scenes, but he wants to be that popular kid because he doesn't want to be considered a nerd.
Right. So
But overall,
Mm-hmm.
I think the show was good.
Okay.
it got kind of predictable towards the last 2 episodes. I kind of predicted
Man,
it.
shut up.
You
I
really
kinda
predict? You
predicted it.
really?
Yeah,
No.
I did not predict that at all.
I kind of predicted it.
I was
You know
like,
what it is, Ern? He's
oh.
annoying. He's annoying.
She hates when I do that.
I hate when he does that.
I was like, yeah, I guarantee you that guy is number one.
Oh,
Whatever.
nah, I figured that a little bit early as myself. I just wanted to know how. I was confused as how. But, you know, him being number one, I think that was a no-brainer. I was like, something's off here. You know what I mean?
And
But
one thing I did like, they introduced other horror movies from the 70s and 80s.
absolutely.
The first one being, well, we both agree Robert Englund is not back, but he's part of the Nightmare on Elm
Yeah,
Street
don't hate
series.
on my man, fam. My man's back, baby.
He ain't back. He ain't back.
No.
74.
It's-
It was
living
nice to
life.
see.
If it's something that's going to rejuvenate
No, I don't think
his
so.
career, maybe that's what the path that
These Gen Z guys don't know who Robert Englund is. They don't even know what
what
Freddy
they're gonna
Krueger
know
is.
now.
No,
they're gonna
oh, yeah,
know
they did
now.
because they mentioned it.
They mentioned
But
it.
just the fact that they introduced Nightmare on Elm Street, they pay homage to Carrie, they pay homage to Amityville Horror,
Oh,
they pay
right,
homage to Hellraiser.
Mm.
You know, so all these movies were dope growing up. I used to be scared of Nightmare on Elm Street. I used to be scared. I used to hide behind the couch watching Freddy Krueger.
Me
Like
too.
7, 8 years old, I used to see him just clawing in the wall. I used to be like, I can't see this.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
but just the fact, like I said, the homage to Carrie, the scene where she was getting her powers back and she was getting bullied and all that tormenting, it was similar to Carrie. She was going through all that suffering, all that pain, and she finally just got angry and just boom, burst of energy.
right,
Amityville
right.
Horror show, Amityville Horror. That's homage to the house that he grew up in. In the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the series, we realized that the dad kind of got possessed. Same thing in Amityville Horror.
Right.
And ended up killing the family.
Right.
And that was the link to Amityville. Hellraiser in Hell with all the cables of him hanging off the thing in the ceiling. That's in the Hell Upside Down world is a tribute to Hellraiser.
Right.
The dark side, the dark world.
Right.
So it's and then also like they reference the killings of when he's killing in their sleep when they're
Right.
vulnerable.
Of course.
That's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Very
That's Freddy
reminiscent
Krueger.
of
Easily.
Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah, so
I
it's-
remember there was like one scene that I remember that was very distinct in the number one when Chrissy in this particular episode when she died in the ceiling. It was the same killing like in Tina. In
Amanda.
That, was it Amanda,
Amanda,
or
I
Tina?
think it was Amanda.
No, I thought it was Tina.
Tina?
I thought it was Tina. Let me get my facts straight. I will double check. But I believe that the first killing in Nightmare on Elm Street number 1 was she was killed the same way in the ceiling, being called alive in her sleep, being possessed by Freddy Krueger. So
think
there's
so.
many horror parallels and
Yep.
mirroring imaging, and they've used that as that foundation for Stranger Things. And I think that they did that exquisitely in this movie. Like they used those parallels. And like Andres was talking about before, Carrie talking about telekinesis, maybe having the ability to move things with your mind. That was a big thing in Carrie, right? She
Right.
didn't know her power. She didn't know how to control that. And then again, being bullied, pig's blood, taking her to the prom, same thing. Parallels with Elle being tortured by this bimbo, whatever you want to call her, you know,
bullied, just
being
like Carrie.
embarrassed, you know,
Getting
using her
embarrassed.
just using that as an example. Again, you're using the Amity Horror. You're using the spirit. The spirit is possessing the house, and that house is an important component in Stranger Things. So you're
Right.
using all these great horror inspirations and
yep.
elements that in so many different parallels in Stranger Things. And I think there was like a great homage to that for sure.
Absolutely. My question is like, so I wasn't much of a Hellraiser fan. I think I saw maybe one. But you know that you guys, I told you guys, like I don't like scary
don't do
movies
horror.
like that. After a while, it's just like I'm good. So, where did the Duffer Brothers take, right? The part where the ceiling is basically a whole nother realm. Was that in Hellraiser? When the whole
Hellraiser, well, he lived
That's
in
what
the
he
other
did, right?
side, lived in hell.
He literally
supposed
lived
to be
in the
hell.
upside down. That's hell.
Okay, that's why. That's why I was trying to figure out where it came from.
Right, but the only difference with Hellraiser, the portal to hell was a puzzle box.
Okay,
So when one of the collectors, when he bought that puzzle box, when he unlocked it, because it was just all a myth, a legend that this puzzle box has the connection, a portal to hell. So when he bought it, he unlocked it, not realizing he unlocked the Hellraiser villain, and basically just pulls him in, just like the Creed that he does with his tentacles. He pulls him in, but in Hellraiser he uses like spikes. And pulls them into the world. Just another realm.
Just a quick thing, talking about boxes and stuff. Another horror series, they're talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She had the connection with a box as well, that they entrapped the father, which was the devil, Satan. Yeah. So that reminded me of that part as well, that the box does play, when it comes to using it as portals or it means of being trapping spirits and stuff like that. So I thought it was an interesting correlation with that as well.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The way these guys, it was just art imitating art. And they did it to, like Oracle said, it was just to a whole nother level. It was like 4 in 1. And truthfully, with the time that it's still not easy to do it because I bet it was hard to edit because they probably had so much editing to do. It was ridiculous. What to keep, what not to keep. But putting it all together was perfection to me. Anyway, you know what I mean? And these guys, and they're brothers, by the way. They directed and written by Matt and Ross Duffer. These guys are awesome. I'm just glad that I saw Robert Englund got opportunity to do his talk, do his spiel. If y'all didn't know, his birthday's in 3 days. He's a Gemini, so that's why he got like 8 personalities. Kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense now that I think about it. So like, I want to know, Oracle, you had a great question. What is the goal of this season, right? Mm-hmm. What are they trying to do overall? And I was thinking, like, there's so many things. First of all, they're growing, so it's all about adjustment, right? So Elle, to me, I think she's the main character, safe to say. She had to move away. Instead of staying where she's at with her friends and et cetera, they had to move her away, right? Because the government was after her, right? So they're like, nah, that power's too much. We need that.
But her powers are gone. Well, the government doesn't know.
Right, but they didn't know that. Right.
Well, that other agency didn't know. Like the government, I guess the special unit knew her powers are gone, but not the government. Because the government sees her as a weapon.
Right, of course. They ain't going to get rid of it.
That's a threat.
But they don't realize that her powers, I don't think they know at this point that her powers are gone. Uh-huh. They're just after her at this point right now.
Right. But what's funny, it's the fact that when her powers is gone, I think her powers left because she moved away. All that energy and everything that was going on was really back in that town because they said the town is cursed. So at that moment, think about seasons 1 through 3. She had all her powers. It was nothing to get rid of because she had to stand her ground. She always had to be ready. Being in a new school, a new environment, she wasn't ready. So the season was just about, look, we want you to live a regular life now. All that thing is past, but of course, it came to pass once again. So,
and I think that's the thing when it comes to the end of a show. You always want to have closure, but it always goes back to the original story. When it goes back to, when I always think of the horror genre, when you want to finish a story, you always want to go back to the beginning because you want to answer those questions that have been left unanswered. So a lot of the stuff that happened in the beginning, we were not sure of, and we couldn't get an explanation. We were like, what happened? Why did this happen? Where did it all begin? So season 4, Stranger Things 4, was a great buildup of getting to that point to saying, shit, how did this happen in the first place? So I think that the story development, the speed of this season, I think it was right on time. I think it was something that we needed. I think it's something that we wanted.
It didn't feel rushed either.
It did not feel rushed
It didn't feel rushed.
At all.
Like, the only thing I disliked about it is...
You wanted more.
Well, all these micro stories is like they just kept cutting them. I'm like, it'll get up to a point, it'll build it up, and boom, next scene. It'll show another character. I'm like, oh my God, now we got to wait until the next rotation of micro story for it to come back so we can see what happens next. Like it was just annoying.
No, but it can't be annoying. It was purposeful. It was purposeful.
Yeah, they were building it up.
Well, that's the point. That's the whole point of when a series is coming to an end. You're going to have all these intertwining micro stories that are going to be happening all simultaneously. That's going to come to that one point to where the climax is, and all of a sudden, boom, here we are. This is what it is. We've come to the precipice of what the show is.
Right.
Like sitting down and thinking about the micro stories, I broke it down into 10 different micro stories. So it's so weird that because of micro stories, it comes into the one big one. So the first micro story is about 11, Jane's story. That is an own storyline in itself. The question is, will she ever get her powers back? Will she be able to be saved? Hawkins, that was like the one micro story we're thinking about, right? So the whole journey of 11 and Jane, right? The next micro story was Vecna, him being number one.
Right.
How did that start? Did you see that coming? Did you predict that? I only predicted it.
I didn't make the connection with him being the child in the house, only because they fooled us in the beginning where they said that the dad killed the family.
And they said, but the father said when he was in the prison in one of those important scenes with Robert Lundgren, England, that the son died the day later from a coma.
Right. The son
So
died
they,
a day later.
they took his ass.
Yeah, they took his ass and he
They
became
took his
property of the
ass.
U.S. government.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So thinking, that storyline, how did he get his power? What was the development? What was the need to correct and balance the world?
Well, he said that when he came to Hawkins, he felt the energy. He felt different. And he knew that he could be himself.
Right.
And that's how we know he wasn't the one that started that energy in Hawkins. At least we know towards the end that he is the reason why the portal opened in the first place in Hawkins.
He
So it was that last
was
episode.
given
That's
access.
why that. Right.
Because
That's why that portal
opened the
happened.
portal and sent him to the Upside Down.
Right.
Right.
And that's
right.
how
Instead of,
we come to see that big opening in season 1 when they have all the lab and all the portal entrance, it's a contained environment. Now we know where it came from
Right. Where it started.
because L started.
It goes back to the origins. That's why
Yes, it's going back to
the
the
original.
original.
read those stories. That's why we go back. Another micro story is the prison storyline. We're worrying about Hopper. Did he escape? Did he survive? Will Hopper ever get reunited with Joyce?
Right.
That's another micro story in itself. His contact with the Demogorgon,
Yeah.
and him fighting and trying to stay alive and him escaping the prison. That's a whole different storyline in itself.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
And you have the mom and Murray. That's another storyline.
Right.
Them trying to get to Harper.
Right.
right,
To me,
they're their own storyline.
Yeah, their own storyline, which was funny.
Right.
Murray's hilarious.
Right.
I
funny.
guess they were there to give. Murray was there to give that comedic relief.
Comedic relief for sure.
Right.
It was hilarious. He had some great
Yeah.
lines.
Iron hands,
Like, fist straight like an arrow.
shoot like an arrow. I have a black belt in karate, and he's practicing and fucking dropping the gun and shit. Like, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
And
Meanwhile,
that guy was
Hopper's in
sharp.
there barefoot in the snow trying to escape this prison.
But that guy was
Get
sharp
his
as hell,
ass
though.
beat.
Yep. When, you know what was funny in that part for the comic relief? And when he said the oldest kid was like, what, 15 or 13 in the
16,
martial arts
yeah.
class? And then he said, but I beat him. I was like, oh, yeah, you shouldn't have a problem beating a grown up at this point. Like, that was
That
hilarious.
fucking
yo.
Yuri scumbag.
Oh, my God.
Another
man.
storyline, the introduction of new characters now.
yeah.
Okay.
You got Eddie Munson.
Eddie Munson, yeah.
And
Eddie.
at first I was like, why is he here?
Mm-hmm.
But then he gives off that same arrogant, cocky vibes as Max's brother, Billy.
Right.
So they had to
Right.
replace him with that kind of personality.
Absolutely.
You think so?
I did. I think so.
I think-
and I kind of enjoyed it too. Like he's being like, yes, he's portraying that he's like a rebel, but deep down inside, he's like an inner nerd. He
Mm-hmm.
does all these things, and
You saying he a softie?
he's a softie.
He is a softie.
He's a softie. He did good though.
He's
His
been
character was
running the
amazing. I
whole
love it. I love it.
Season, yo.
But look, if you would have saw somebody hands all crippled and broken in midair,
I run
Look.
too.
what you gonna say? Hey, face me, not her.
No, I'm
face
good.
me. Yeah, right. I'm out.
good.
Like, I'm usually not a fan of shows introducing new characters at this late in the game, but this works. It works.
It worked. You know what? It was all about filling in the gap.
Yeah.
And for her brother, for baby girl's brother, like it was perfect. It was just like, so what do we need kids are going into high school, what do we need to know? Kids are changing, kids are developing, kids are growing up, kids are going to go left, the other kids, certain kids are going to go right. And then you got to meet that one guy or the one girl who's a bully, or the one guy who's a bully, or he's super cool. Either he's popular or he's super popular in his own right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was perfect.
I think the story correlation with that, I think the conversation that really highlighted it for me was the conversation between Steve and Eddie, that they both thought of each other as that exterior was kind of really hiding how they really were. Like Eddie assumed that just because he was a rich guy and whatever, that he was stuck up, that he was cocky and stuff like that, he was really a good dude deep down. Same thing with Eddie. Eddie, he was the president or however the head of the Hellraiser Club. Hellfire Club. And in the beginning, I didn't like that. I didn't like him. I was like, I didn't like the way he talked to people. I didn't like
Yeah. But then you get to see his softer side.
Right.
And he's part of one of the nerds. He just built this facade so they wouldn't see him that way.
Yeah, of course. So it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then you have the introduction of Argyle. That's
say that again.
Since Will
See,
moved.
but that's another micro story in
It's
itself.
another micro story.
It's the boys
Argyle.
now trying to find Elle now. So they're in a race. They're trying to escape the government, getting shot at. And Argyle is the man with the car, and Mr. Pothead. Between that's another side of comic relief that we need in such a serious role in this series.
Right.
So that's the boys' road trip. That's saving the world and getting to 11, being able to find Susie, which is Dustin's girlfriend, who is the certified genius to help them locate and find Elle. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that that's its own micro story in itself. You know, that's another interesting part. Like, there's so many intertwining storylines that just, it makes sense. He says, but it's cutting out. I'm like, no, dude, it makes sense. It makes sense.
No, it was just...
That's not what you said.
That's what I said. Even though I don't like them introducing new characters, I'm not a fan of it, but this worked well. I said that.
Yeah, he did say that. He said this works.
This works.
Why are you defending him? Don't defend him.
No. I'm just trying to stay out of my business. I'm just trying to stay in the element and out of the element I'm not supposed to be in at the same time. I don't want no trouble. I think what I really liked about it is just the growth of the characters and realizing that, we got to grow up. Like, look, I love playing with Dungeons and Dragons, but Lucas was like, I can play ball and I'm really good.
Right.
So I wasn't like, they asked him like, can you just not worry about that and meet us at the club? It was like, wait, what?
Right.
How about you come to my game?
Yeah.
And support me, please.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just.
But that's what happens. Friends start to grow apart. Yeah.
Right.
That happens. That's just part of life. And
it hit it right in the nail too, because that's exactly what happens.
Right. It's just the evolution, man.
In high school, you start drifting apart, and then once after high school, then you really drift apart to your friends.
So my question is it they only are going to bind together and get together when there's a problem that they all have to come together and solve, or will they be friends regardless? Right?
You talking about the club?
Yeah, just not the club, but the circle. Like the circle that you saw. We're talking about Dustin. We're talking about Lucas. We're talking about Will. Even though they're in California and Jonathan's in California and they moved, and that circle, they always come together to solve the problem, to save Earth, save Hawkins. Will that circle be the same after all of this?
We'll know.
We will never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Well, if they change their mind and do season 5 and say, let's do one more season when they're in their 20s, like the movie It, in late 30s. Let's see what happens.
20 years from now.
That's true.
20 years
See,
from now.
I didn't even think about that.
You never know.
But
it's for now. Like, who knows? Like, one thing for sure is they're gonna drift apart because they're gonna go. Certain of them are going to college. They're gonna go to different colleges, so that's gonna happen. They're not all 5 of them are gonna say, we're just gonna all go to the same college. It just doesn't happen like that all the time.
I think one of the characters is going through that right now with Nancy, between Nancy and Jonathan. Jonathan's not gonna go to the same school as Nancy now, so now they've been drifting apart, and now
it's him. Like, she wants to have that connection, but it's him. He doesn't want to tell her that he's not going
That
to
he
the same
can't.
college. So
He
he's
can't.
avoiding her.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he can't. He said he got to go to. He would have to do community college if anything first. So that's just how it is with college. We all went. Money wise, it's like, look, I just can't get there. But she's situated. But that's part of life. That's part of life.
No, and
But
that's part of another interesting micro story. Again, that storyline between Steve and Nancy in season 1. It goes back that they were together, and whatever happened. They might be rekindled. That's another storyline. Hoping that might be rekindled, but we'll never know.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my dude, he got stabbed a little bit. I don't know he gonna survive.
Right. I think he'll be fine. He'll be
I have
fine.
a feeling he's going to be.
I think he might die.
Because when you look.
I think he might die.
Are we
Yeah.
going to have our theories on how it's going to end?
No. Let's continue with the micro stories, and
Okay,
then we'll get
so
into our theories.
I think
Oh.
Steven, since he got bitten
Yeah.
when they were about to jump through the portal back into reality, into the real world.
Uh-huh.
If you look at, I noticed his chest, it was all black.
Yeah.
It was turning black.
He was already like it looked poisoned.
He looked poisoned.
Yeah, he looked poisoned.
And he even said, no, you go first. So I think he was going to sacrifice himself to stay behind
Yeah, something to that.
so they could live.
Oh,
Yeah,
yo, good. I did not think about that.
Yeah.
I did not
But
think about that.
then after that,
Nancy's story came in
Nancy's
she started getting-
connection with Vecna.
with Vecna, and that
Right.
blew my mind. That really put the connection of everything together. That's what put the 1 to 1 and 2 to 2 together. That story in itself. Another micro story that was really interesting is that basketball coach, that team leader, the white dude. What's his name? Jeez.
Oh,
The boyfriend of
I keep thinking his
Chrissy.
name is Fred.
His name is not Fred. Is
His
it?
name is not Fred.
Oh, not Jason.
Jason. So
He looks like a
super
Fred to
popular
me.
guy. The
he
super
does,
popular
he does look
guy.
like a Fred.
Yeah.
So the popular guy, that's another micro story. You mentioned something about
Yes,
it that it was
I
like
compared
really
it-
interesting.
I compared it to him as the Salem witch trials. So they all going out there with pitchforks, trying to.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that's rallying up the whole town to go after these guys because of sorcery and supernatural
And
beings
cults.
and cult.
And these deaths.
So I compared it to like the Salem witch trials, where the town
Right.
goes after these witches and hang them.
Right.
that's
So they out for blood.
yeah.
You know what's funny?
Why is he laughing? What's funny about that?
No, it's
People
funny
get hanged. What's
because
funny about that?
look, it's they're in. So there's another realm where they would have to find this so-called guy, right? And then they're thinking like, we're gonna find the super cool geek who we think is the killer, but in reality, there's a whole nother realm they'll never get to. So they're just gonna be in the woods, like, what are we looking for?
But he's in
Like,
denial because he actually witnessed it to himself of Eddie not killing the guy. In the
oh
lake.
yeah, absolutely.
No, but he still is convinced.
But he's
that he
convinced
is.
that Eddie's the one that did it. Because
he's
with
there.
supernatural powers.
Right, because he's right there. So
But when
what
it happened,
happens is,
Eddie was in the lake. He jumped into the lake.
Doesn't matter.
He fell.
but still, he's right
Still,
there.
he's
If
there.
he wasn't there, it would be two different situations.
Yeah.
But we know Eddie. That was Eddie's house. So and she died in Eddie's house. Eddie's there. One of his friends died. It's like, what, yo, Eddie, man, like you gotta go.
Yeah,
You keep
you're
you
talking.
Yeah.
keep losing because you're around. That's what it was. That's what it was. You know what I mean? It's gonna be. I think so. There's a 2-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie, right, coming up in July, right, for the final season.
Yep.
They're gonna give us a lot. That's gonna be a lot in one full 2.5 hours. They're gonna force a lot, I think. We already know how it ends, but we don't want to spoil it for anybody. But if we're thinking moving forward, we know certain things that's gonna happen. My theory with what's the name who got bit?
Steve.
I think he becomes powerful some type of way. I'm just guessing. In some type of way, but he probably does die.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he does die, and just
Yeah.
the condition and the way he got attacked, I'm like, he got bit like good.
Yeah.
So
Like, remember, he bit it back. He was like, yo, fam.
yeah,
He was like,
that was an Aussie move. And it's so
Yeah.
crazy because a lot of the references, again, it's the 80s. We're 80s kids, so we get a lot of these references. So I love that they continue to stay in that theme of the 80s. And it's like so reminiscent of that. But like continuing with these micro stories is like, now we're thinking about how you mentioned before, Ernest, that everybody's moving on. So now we're thinking about Elle and Mike's story. How is that play, being a couple and him, that young love? It wasn't what it's all cracked up to be, right? My man, he doesn't know how to give his emotions, and Elle is still learning how to be a human, I guess, if that's the right thing to use.
No,
How
to be normal, you know what I mean? So for her, she feels everything strongly.
Right,
So.
exactly. And at the end of the day, she is human.
Right.
That's just what it
she
is.
is human, but I'm just saying like supernatural in that sense. You know?
Right, because remember in the beginning, they were trying to make her act like she just came out of nowhere.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, like in the last season, 2 episodes before it finished, they said, oh, she had a mother.
Yeah, she had a mom and everything.
You know, her mom wanted to make sure she was okay, and then I guess, unfortunately, they did something to her mom.
Government took care of that.
That's the situation. You're right. So being locked up basically in a box for like 11 years or 8 years or whatever, it's going to put you in a bad situation.
It does.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's
but
about
that young love is going to be that young love is going to be
trauma.
out the window though.
Yeah.
Because Mike, when Mike never says I love you.
Yeah.
And he's basically in his mind, he's probably like, well, how do you know?
Right.
Like, because I don't know.
You know how I know? It's because I saved your life. You know how I know? Because we saved the world together. Like, I don't know how much more of a big gesture of love that I could show you and prove to you. And it's the same thing. Speaking of how the arc of these characters, beginning from season 1 to season 4, you see them mature, you see them find love, you see them reaching sexual maturity and things like that, being interested in the opposite sex and things like that. So this is what happens. This is you growing up. These are kids. And Mike even said it in there. He's like, we had an adult conversation. So those are the things that it's so important to highlight that. And I'm like, what is she going to do if she had to choose between saving the world or saving Mike? Like, those are the choices that she might have to make.
Mike is part of the world.
No, but you know how you always say to me, I'm part of the world, but I am your world. You always say that shit to me.
And there you go. You just answered the finale. You just answered the finale. You just answered the finale because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Number 3. Sheesh. Get him.
She just foretold the finale because that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
What you think is going to happen?
She's going to sacrifice herself for everything.
I think so.
She's going to be the martyr.
I think she will either be the martyr.
Because she's the one that opened the gate. She's going to
be the one to close it. Yep. That's one of our theories.
And it's going to slow down. Mike's going to be like, no.
But that was the same thing what happened with Hopper. We thought Hopper was dead.
And then 20 years from now, the gate opens. Mike.
But remember, the upside down world is stuck in time. Remember, there was a revelation.
3 years.
Everything 3 or 2 years back. There is a revelation. Remember that Nancy was discovering that some of the things in the time froze in the upside world. So keep that together. Keep that in theory. You know what I'm saying? And another micro story that I love that I know a lot of people were saying a lot about it, but between Will's story, a lot of it was how has he ever really recovered from being in the upside down world? Has he ever really recovered being socially awkward? And you always said that his voice changed. He looked mad different.
I just think he's gay.
I think with Ern on this one.
I think he's gay.
I think he's in love with Mike.
Yeah, he's in love with Mike. He looked like he got a crush on him.
Yeah, because he looked like he's in love with him, and he doesn't know the right words to tell him that he loves him, even though that's his best friend.
Remember when he said, well, some people want to say something, but they don't know how they'll take it. He said that. So I was paraphrasing. But yeah, he looked like he's just gay. He was just so happy to see Mike, like that was his world already. Like, I mean,
but then they were best friends growing up, so I don't know. And I guess
it might be just platonic.
But it could be they're growing up and they're drifting apart. You know, he's with Elle.
Right.
Is it platonic though?
Yeah, I think it might. Well, see, you're just saying that because of the way he refused the advances of a girl in his class. So if he would have been all right with it, you think he'd not be gay? No.
No. I don't think because of that part. He made him a picture. I made something for Mike, but like he didn't want to show it after a point. It was just like
We already know it's a picture of either the Mind Slayer or something to that effect because it's in red. I see a leg. I see something. He's always into that weird, not weird, but that's the imagery that I'm thinking of that piece of artwork.
yeah.
If y'all think he's gay, whatever the case may be.
Right.
So then that's another introduction about more inclusion.
Well, yeah. Then they had what's her name's
Robin?
Robin's character.
Right.
She's a lesbian. She
Right.
likes girls. They
Right.
made it inclusive.
Right.
It's all about inclusivity. But then it's the 80s.
Right. It's all in due time. That will unfold eventually. What's her name? She's probably gonna fall in love with the other girl, and et cetera, et cetera. We know, you could tell how that plays out, you know. But for Will, look, we don't know. We could be wrong. He's probably not gay.
Yeah, it
You
could
know,
be.
he's
Yeah.
just like you said, Oracle. Like he's been through a lot. Like he was
Yeah.
missing forever. So it was like, damn, where have you been?
Yeah,
like
he's
in
like,
hell.
yeah. You know, like we've been through all
I'm
this
back.
together. We've been best friends for all this time, and all of a sudden you ain't talking to me because now all of a sudden you got a girl.
You got buns, bro.
Right.
We got buns.
What I'm saying is,
Listen, I have friends in the past that ditch us for buns.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Quick.
Yeah, quick. We'll
Spider-Man
be hanging out.
fast.
All of a sudden, y'all got a booty call. Like, yo, you just called us to hang out. And all of a sudden, you
Just-
dipping? Peace.
Like how did you get from one dimension to the other? You were just asking me about this question.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I gotta go. She just called. But you know, that happens. I guess again, that's all part of growing up, right? Being emotional and falling in love or your first opportunity, whatever. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see how that unfolds, man. There's so many questions. But one thing I did want to see, truthfully, I wanted to see more of Lucas' sister, Erica. I love Erica.
she's so
I love Erica,
fucking
yo.
good.
Yeah. I needed,
She's so good. I
yeah,
need more of
I
her.
needed them. Yeah, I wanted them to hone in on more of her. Let's see what happens moving forward. But I feel like she's one of those characters who takes over, and she's not even there long. And it's like, yo, this girl got it.
She
It's
doesn't
factor.
need to be there
Yeah.
at all to own a scene.
Yeah.
Right.
That takes skill. That takes
Right.
amazing talent. And every time she steps into the scene, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, she's gonna come with it.
Right. Right. And
She
it's
gonna
crushed.
drop the hammer.
Uh-huh.
I
She
need a
just crushes it.
Nintendo when I
Yeah.
see him. These lights are acting up. Is that Vecna? I'm gonna tell Dustin what was under your bed.
Was it gross? Yep.
Yep, was it gross? She's gonna come with it. So this is like every time. And then she came through in the beginning with the D&D club and fucking won. It just came through in the clutch. You know
And
what I'm
Justin was
saying?
like, no. His heart was pounding.
What? You know what I mean? And the thing is that when you recognize these characters that have been there from the beginning, and you see their arc, you see how
Right.
they develop, and you see how they're important into the series, and as well, it just makes you think like, oh my god, it's so sad that this is coming to an end, but it's like,
I know. I know. It's one of those shows where, like, so one of my favorite shows was Shameless, and they gave us 11 quality seasons, like 11. And it was just like, yeah, I can't believe this is still going. But every season was fantastic. This is one of those shows where, like, you could keep going, right? Just a little bit
absolutely.
more. But
Everything has the potential to keep going. But the point where I get to is that, yes, what is the point of this season? The reason for this season is closure. That's
Closure,
really what
yeah.
it is.
like, this is
That's
it.
how
Yeah.
I'm thinking in that sense. And with these micro stories, we come down to, we see the development from season 1 to season 4. We see so many deaths. We see the deaths of connection. And Elle is at the center of it, right? We mentioned that Elle is the center of this story. So I feel like with her, with each connection and each character, Elle is the 6 degrees of bacon. That's how I always think of her. Going back
Right.
to the beginning, going back to the origin story, and finding out and explaining how it all happened in the first place. And
Right.
then she kind of personifies what Vecna is. So his obsession, I don't know if it's his obsession or his interest in the Black Widows. The Black Widows, they are what he was always saying, the most interesting predator, and feeding off of the spirits and feeding off of everything. So it mimics it mirrors the same story going forward. Elle is the web that is connecting to all these stories. She's at the center of it. And then with each connection, each lifeline, she goes back, and it's her connection to the outside world, upside down world, her connections with all these micro stories, all these characters. Vecna now is connecting from the opposite side, connecting to these people that have trauma, that had these different connections from the past as well. So it's just all encompassing, and it's just so, it mirrors one another. It's like Vecna and Elle are the same.
Right.
They're just in different points in their lives and decided to take a different turn with their lives. Elle is trying to go for the side of good, and Vecna is going to the side, not so good. So.
Right. You know what's funny, like, about just the whole story, and you said it before about coming full circle, right?
Yeah.
Earlier when we were talking about it. It's going to be great to see how Elle's father, the sheriff, how they meet again. Like, is it going to be through the realm, or is it they're going to fly back home? That's going to be the interesting part for me. Again, if you don't know this, if you don't know your history, USA versus Russia, like
still
they
going
got
strong,
this Cold War battle forever. It's always them in a movie, in a show, real life. It's just like, wow, like both sides they'll never let go. You know what I mean?
Never.
So they always have it at that issue that they need to show, how it comes back full circle again. Like, I'm here and I got kidnapped by the Russians. Or look at these Americans. It's always something.
It's always about strength. It's always about showing power and strength, and who's more smarter, who has the bigger weapons, who's making all the chess pieces move. Yeah. So that's how. And the commies. It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
Cold War. It's
Absolutely.
The 80s.
Absolutely. Like, if you think about it, they'll never let it go, though. This is something where, like these great writers who write entertainment and movies and et cetera, you're going to always write about this. There's so much to write about. It's like been, 50 years? Cold War. It's just, it'll never stop, But that's what I like I said, just talking about full circle, how these things will always be repeated too at the same time, But moving forward, man, like one thing I just don't like about this entire show, and I'll be honest, that got me waiting a whole month for 2 more episodes. I didn't like that at all. Nah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, patience, my friend.
When I see the Duffel boys, I'm gonna holler at them real quick. Depending if I'm taller than them, and I'm probably bigger than them, but if I'm taller than them.
We forgot to mention one thing. The connection between Vecna and Elle.
What is the connection?
I think they use Vecna's blood to recreate all those other kids.
I thought that was established.
Hold on, that's weird though.
I think I'm not assuming. I thought that was established.
I didn't know that was established. I didn't think about that at all.
Because he was the first one, so they try to recreate his power.
Yeah, they had to have it from some source. How were they able to go up to all these kids?
What if he's the father of all these kids?
He's not the father.
Or they just took DNA out of him?
He's probably took blood samples. Oh, you think that you're talking about like inseminated
inseminated way, yeah.
That's what you. Ugh.
No, we don't know.
I don't know. The government.
There's a theory. It's the government.
The government make things happen, so I don't know.
Because they said he even said I have a strong connection.
Shout out to the government with all due respect.
What was that?
I just said shout out to the government with all due respect. Respectfully.
I pay my taxes.
Pay my taxes respectfully.
On time.
On time. I'm legit.
On time.
Right. But yeah, it's a lot to think about, man. Like, you put it in my mind now. I think I'm going to go back and watch a couple of episodes. Like, where did those kids come from? But then again, if you think about it, Elle had a situation. The mom brought her in when she was young.
Yeah, but I thought that was the assumption that all these kids were brought in by parents that, wanted to give them up for adoption, or if they had financial issues or something.
Yeah, but the mom was older. So the mom looked older. It's not like the mom looked young.
That's not the point.
or she did like she wasn't willing to give her up.
No.
No, that's not what we were saying. We're talking about just go ahead, or
Yeah. What I'm saying is, I thought that was established that these kids came from parents that had trouble or whatever the case may be, and they came into this program, and they were manipulated and they were tricked
into giving them up
and giving them in. That was what the assumption is.
Yeah, that's what I think. So
Okay.
That's what it seemed like, because it seemed like her mom wanted her.
Yeah, like,
and they're pulling her away.
It wasn't like she wanted to give her away just to give her away. She probably came there to do a program or whatever, and it reminded me of the other movie, the one that we liked, which Saoirse Ronan, that all the moms were Russian and they gave up Hannah.
Oh,
Hannah was the same thing. They were misled. They came in for a program or whatever the case may be. They wanted to get government help or whatever, and they took their kids. It was like, all right, we're gonna go train them to be spies and killers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's the parallel with that. That's what I'm saying. But I don't want to assume nothing. But that's what I thought that was the point of that.
Right. I wonder if that's going to be explained. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see here. So my final question is, like I said, we're watching some of these characters. These actors have that X factor. You know what I mean? Millie Bobby Brown, of course. I asked if she's going to be, how big of a star is she going to be? We pretty much see she's going to be monumental if she keeps going in that path. But how big do you think she's going to be in the acting world, in Hollywood, I say?
Do you think she's going to do an Amanda Heard? I'm sorry.
Don't put that on Millie Bobby Brown.
No. You know why I say that is because you can have a one hot thing, right? The one hit wonders.
I think this is it.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like
I don't think
it might be a one hit wonder.
She's not gonna be a one hit wonder. I think she's gonna do more stuff, but not as big as this.
As Stranger Things, right? That's what
the
I'm
next thing that's big for her is the Sherlock Holmes series. Enola Holmes. That's it.
Alone. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that
it was
movie,
good.
though.
It was good.
I love that movie.
But other than that, I don't see her. Because again, like when you do these type of roles, you don't want to be typecasted as being a superhero all the time.
Right, I get it. Like I'll play James Bond for 80 years if possible.
But not everybody has that same feeling, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, of course.
So I think maybe for her, she's probably done with this series after this, and she's gonna probably want to move on to something bigger. But I don't see her.
Tell me what is going to be bigger than Stranger Things.
Exactly.
Tell me.
Nothing.
Well, we overall
unless she's in the Fast and the Furious.
That is a downgrade. That is a downgrade.
Don't do that to her.
Fast
Don't. Yeah, y'all gotta stop. Next week. Y'all gotta leave Bobby alone, man.
They said that Rita Moreno is in the
man.
I'm like, why is this Broadway star from?
You know why?
Why?
Family.
Please.
Because she's gonna play grandma.
I would say money, but
I was gonna say money.
Yeah,
man, Vin Diesel doesn't know what to do with that series, bro. He's just like, yo, can you come in this movie? Can you do this one? Can you be my grandma? He just don't not know.
The long lost grandma, like the grandma I never knew.
The grandmother that abandoned all of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Who knows how to fix all the cars, right?
Right. Talking about characters in general, I think everybody has the potential to do big things. The question is, can they live up to the potential of Stranger Things 4? What is the curse that they always fall into, right? Is there anything in their future work that can top this kind of work? Always fear for people in general, who has the potential? Millie does have the potential. They're just like anybody else, being part of a show of this grandeur, of the hype and thing from season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everybody has the capacity to be big stars, but will they ever live up to the potential of Stranger Things 4? I don't know. I don't.
You don't know?
I don't know.
We're still waiting for the last 2 episodes before we really get that final decision, right?
Yeah.
But
sure.
But if you're premeditating it and you're guessing and I would say, well, who would you give me? Give me one besides Millie Bobby Brown that we to a degree, we could say, I could see her getting into great movies, growing up, getting older, still in the game, and et cetera, et cetera.
So
she's only like 18.
If I was to say anybody from anywhere, Max has the most potential.
Max?
I think potential.
Okay.
Her character.
Okay.
Dustin. he might get typecast, but again,
he might. Mm-hmm.
you know, with everything from the development from Dustin to Robin, again, Steve, he's been popular because he was in Free Guy big already. You know that, it just, elevated everything else. Winona Ryder, she's a big hit from the 80s. This is rejuvenating her career.
Yeah,
absolutely.
She's supposed to be reprising her role in Beetlejuice too.
You know what I'm saying? So there is the capacity for anybody to blow up, or because it is such a big deal. It is such a big thing. Hopper, he was in that he played
Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Yeah, but that movie sucked though.
Well, yeah, it wasn't great.
That movie was pure trash.
But what I'm saying is,
with all respectfully,
right? What I'm saying is, everybody has the potential to do other things, but it's so hard to top something like Stranger Things 4. That's the curse that you fall into when you have such a phenomenal show that has the hype and it has high standards. Where else are you going to be able to perform in another show of that capacity, of that magnitude? That's what I'm saying.
I think for me, one of the actors that probably will make her.
That's the so
he's very quick.
I was thinking about that
with the comedy. So I think he's gonna, if it's not for another like show like this, maybe like a TV show, like a comedy series or something.
But see, that's a downgrade. That's what I'm saying.
No, not necessarily, because
Yes,
sometimes
it
these
is.
shows last multiple seasons.
Well, I mean, if they
now
get
that's
if
something
they,
that's hard to do now, because a lot of these shows don't even pass seasons.
well, unless it's the OGs, like SUV that's been on for like 30 seasons, or Grey's Anatomy's been on for
Simpsons.
18 seasons, or Simpsons been on for 22 seasons.
No, over
Right.
30 seasons.
30 seasons, excuse me. The
I think he got a unique-
longevity is always
look.
the concern. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Longevity is always the concern. But I think that applies to anybody in Hollywood, period. You were super excited about Robert Englund coming back. And we're trying to tell you, like, it ain't going nowhere, bro.
going nowhere.
But I could be wrong.
Nah, we ain't wrong. I'm not wrong. I tend to be right.
Yo, fam, look, my man is 74 years young in 3 days, man. Let my man be, yo. He back.
Man, these kids don't know who he is. Like our oldest watched Stranger Things, and he has no idea what Nightmare on Elm Street is or who Robert Englund is.
Come on, man.
Did we fail? Did we fail as parents?
I was just as scary movie parents, yo. Because God
there's
knows
a
they should
certain
know who that
age
man
to watch
is.
it, so I think he's ready to start watching those Nightmare on Elm Streets,
No, but again,
Jason's, and Mike
no,
Myers.
but what I'm saying is, like, to get back to Ern's point, that anybody has the potential to do big things. But what I'm saying is,
Will they?
Will
I doubt
they?
it.
I don't know, because again, Stranger Things is the magnitude, the hype, everything. It's high standards. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to top it. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I go by? I just go by great act. You know what I mean? Great acting. A few of these guys who got good. Again, David Harbour. He plays Jim Hopper. You already know he's good to go.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here for a long time. Winona Ryder. Brown, I think she's gonna be superb. The kid who plays Dustin.
Yeah.
He got a unique look. And he got a lot.
Saying he's always got missing collarbones due to his disease. So, not for nothing. You know what I forgot to really talk about? That other micro story is really about Dustin. Dustin and Robin have been coming through the clutch since season 1. Every time there's been a connection, my man Dustin is at the center of it. He figured out the lights. He figured out the stories. He's been figuring it out. Watergate. Robin, surprisingly, was the one that made the connection with the music. And she has been coming through. She was the one who figured out about Reefer Rick. She was the one who figured out with the music. So, like, Robin and Dust been at the center, and they have been coming through the clutch. I cannot emphasize how much more my man Dustin is the man of the hour. We all worrying about Elle, but he's the one that's making the connection, though. And Robin, another new character. She's not a new character, but she was introduced about 2 seasons ago. And she has been coming through the clutch with Nancy. And I'm like, and Nancy, she's been underrated. I feel like she's been underrated because everybody's assuming this, but Nancy, Robin, and Dustin have been giving it to us for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Right. Of course. But yeah, like I said, it's one of the moments where you just say shout out to the casting director You know, whoever found these kids and put them together, say, wow.
The chemistry.
Like,
Yep.
great job. Because, chemistry is the most important thing. You know, it don't matter how could make these guys fall into position. Yep. Man, I think that kid who plays Dustin Henderson, he's going. I'm who I'm kind of iffy about? Nancy, Natalia Dreyer. I'm kind of on the fence with her. Will, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Not hating. I just don't know. You know what I mean? They don't give him much talk. You know, they don't give him much to say. So it's like, Then you got the others who's there. Like I said, the one who plays Erica Sinclair, the little sister, Pryor Ferguson, she's gonna be fine. But like you guys said, though, you guys said it best. You know, it's not gonna be easy to beat Stranger Things, right? You're not gonna remake that one particularly, and some of them might do. Dirk said some of them might be in the high school shows. You know what I mean? For like several years, but they made it. That's cool, you know. But of course, we're talking about big time. Like, who's gonna make it big time? Like, we'd be like, wow, we just remade you from Stranger Things, and now 5 years later, look at you, or 10 years later, look at you. This is crazy.
From what we know, when it comes to history with these shows, it's always not the front runner that makes it.
Yep.
It's always the second runner ups.
Yep.
Like all these Nickelodeon shows, Disney shows.
Yep.
A perfect example was Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She was second
she's a
string.
singer, though.
She wasn't the main character.
She wasn't the main character.
But she's
Everyone
a singer.
thought that Victoria Justice was gonna be this big superstar, and she ended
wasn't.
up. Ariana ended up overtaking her and getting the record label.
No, she didn't overtake her. Her talent.
Her talent overtook
Put her.
her.
No. Didn't even overtake her. But Victoria Justice. Who? That's exactly what happened. That's what Ariana Grande did. Plain and simple. And the same thing happened Idol. Half of these winners that made it, you don't remember them.
The
I
runner-ups.
remember the runner-ups. Why? Because their careers were more important. Their careers are more emphasized, and they're doing more successful stories. Same thing. So if there's an understanding about that in history, not being front center of it, you'd be surprised.
You know, but I think there's so much to see down the line, but that's why July 1st is forever. You know, so no shout out.
It'll be here
whoever
before you
decided
know
to
it.
put
It's already set the third
3
day
more
of June,
weeks.
bro. Before
Oracle,
you know
don't
it,
take
and
this-
how
don't
we've
take
been
this away
so
from me.
busy, my dude, we're gonna be celebrating 4th of July. And it's gonna be like 4th of July weekend. We're gonna be sitting now and we're gonna be binge watching Stranger Things, and that's what happened 2 summers ago. Don't worry about it.
That's true. But I still don't forgive them. You know what I mean? But yeah, moving forward, we gotta rate this. We gotta rate the show, the season. Ladies first.
Okay, so storyline 10, visual 10. Why is it ending? 0. But from the arc of season 1 to season 4, the development, the characters, stories, they have been so much work has gone into their character development, and I love to see that it's all coming to fruition right now. It's sad to see them go, but sometimes you have to end it at a high note so that we can keep it at the way that it is. But I love Stranger Things from episode 1. I love that they pay homage to the horror genre. I love that these directors, these writers, these producers work. They made it work, and it's something that what Ansel said, it pulled me in. The micro stories pulled me in.
Yeah,
You know
shout
what
out
I
to
mean?
Kicker and
So
it pulled you in. They got you.
pulled you in, and it kept me. So
Wow.
to see it end, it's sad, but I love the journey. I love the
Right.
journey, and for me, if Stranger Things is something that will always be in top 10, for me,
It's gonna be a cult classic
it's classic. Just like
for that generation.
for that
that's gonna-
generation, you know, from 20
Okay.
years down the line, when, you know, Robert's no longer going to be with us, they're going to go back and say, Mare of Elm Street, oh, he was in this. Oh, he was in that. You know, oh, Millie Bobby Brown. Oh, she was in Stranger Things 4. Drew Barrymore when she was in Firestarter. You know, her career has been continuous. She has been nonstop working, but that's just that natural raw talent that she's had. Again, everybody has the potentiality to do amazing things down the line, but it is a
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
What has she
Yeah.
done amazing besides E.T.?
E.T. Huh? Dude, she's done a lot of work, bro.
Besides 50 First
Charlie's
Dates?
Angels.
What a trash.
What?
He said since 50 First Dates, really? Oh, that's a slap in the face, man.
I'm not even gonna have this conversation. We're gonna have this conversation off camera.
You know, it is girl power. Girl power.
It's not about girl power. No, it's not
You
about
know
girl
what he's
power.
doing. He knows it. He's just trying to get you. He just said that to get you mad.
No, you don't even know. You don't even know. How you
But
even
look,
say that?
Yeah. But nah. I think he's kidding. I think he's
better
kidding.
kidding.
Oracle. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, yo.
Sorry.
I agree.
No, don't rub me. Don't rub me now.
But
Get off
Oracle,
me.
you gotta finish. You gotta finish. What do you give it?
I give it 10. Give it 10. 10.
You gave it a perfect 10.
Perfect 10. If I can give it a 10.2, I give it a 10.2. Y'all suckers
In
like
June,
to give a
in July, you
9.2.
give it 10.2.
But I'm gonna give it a 10 for now. But I don't want it to disappoint me like Game of Thrones, the show that thou shall not name. That it was the high expectations and that for it to fall flat. I don't
what
want that
show?
to happen.
What show?
I don't want to mention it.
I have no idea what you're talking
I have no
about.
idea what show we're talking about. But I don't want it to fall to that curse. And I don't want it to
Curse?
yeah, I don't want no. Let me tell you something.
It is
Game of
cursed.
Thrones
Golly.
is one of the biggest budget shows on HBO.
It
It
definitely
is
is.
breaking
Absolutely.
digits. And you're
Yeah,
telling
absolutely.
me you couldn't give me an ending that was satisfying to the audience? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Yeah, it's a curse. It is deplorable. The way that it should have ended in a way that everybody should have been happy about it. So now all of a sudden, they're gonna go try to do a prequel now to make up for the shitty ending? Please.
Yeah.
They lucky I'm gonna go try to see that. So we'll
You're
see.
definitely gonna watch it.
I'm
I'll
gonna
wait
watch
till-
it
I'll
because
wait till
I
it's
want to
definitely gonna
see
watch it.
what the
Tons of
bullshit they're
dragons
gonna
flying.
bring.
Tons of dragons flying around. I'm definitely watching that.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see what they're trying to do to make up for the bullshit that they ended with. So that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna have to work though. They're gonna have to put that work in.
Big time.
Yeah.
So thou shall show, we shall not name. Okay? I don't want Stranger Things to fall to that curse.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So look, Oracle gives it a 10, yo. Like, yo, dirty.
I'm gonna keep it short.
I know
It's
you
short
want
and
to get
simple.
technical.
I give it a 9.
Ooh.
Simple.
Short and simple. I give it a 9. I'm not gonna go into in depth of why.
Okay.
Like I said, I do like all the micro stories. I don't like when they introduce new characters, but this works. I do love the music choice, the soundtrack choice that kind of makes the show with all the 80s synth what does it go? Synth pops.
Synth music,
Synth
yeah.
music. It goes
Okay.
great. Characters are great. It's just gonna suck that it's gonna end.
Alright.
I give it a 9 right now. I'll
Okay.
just for volume 1 of season 4.
Mhm.
I give it a 9. And then
Okay.
I'll wait till the next 2 episodes to finish.
Mhm.
Then I'll give it an overall score.
Mhm.
But like Steph said, I think it's gonna do justice. And like I said earlier, it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel rushed, and it's gonna
Right.
give us that closure that we want,
And we deserve.
similar to
Deserve.
Money Heist.
Right. Okay.
So it's gonna go well. We're gonna be happy.
That's
And
the hope.
Yeah, we're just probably gonna be crying like, "Oh my God, this is well done. This is
That's
well
the
done."
belief. That's the belief.
Yeah. So
I
like I
mean-
said, we'll see. Like so overall, I enjoyed it, but when it got to the last 2-3 episodes, it got predictable. I kind of figured it out right away who he was, what his
How is it gonna
agenda.
go down? Yeah, I figured that out to a degree.
So
To a degree. Mm-hmm.
like I said, that's why it's a 9. But overall, like 9 is still up
All right, now 9 to 9.
Yeah,
Out
9
of
to
10.
9.
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So,
Yeah. I mean, look, Oracle gave it a 10. You gave it a 9. And I always agree with Oracle. Me and Oracle is a team, and it's you and AK is a team. Right? I agree with you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give it a 9. You know,
Thank
I'm gonna give it a 9 because, here's my even no perfect shows or movies. I really don't. You know, it's really difficult to give a perfect show. That's why I give them a 9. I said like a 9 is good. You know, because we deciphered when we say 9.5. Oh no, why 0.5, right? And I don't want to argue with no 0.5s and 8.7s no more. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool. So I'm gonna keep it at a 9. And me too. The following hours that in July 1st. I want to know how this ends, because we always know, and that's a fact, the ending is everything. If it's a bad ending, then we're gonna be like
Bitter.
that show that you guys don't
Bitter.
like to name. We were like,
Bitter.
that's it.
Yeah.
You better go out with a bang, or else you're gonna be criticized.
Man, don't
for a
get me
long
wrong.
time.
I still love
But-
that show that we don't name, but it was just like, wow, hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
That hurts. I ain't gonna lie, stung.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. July 1st, man, and you're right, Oracle. Like July 1st will be here in 2 days. You're gonna be like, damn, it is the 28th,
Right.
right? You know.
But
So-
before we move on, highlight a couple of things real quick.
Okay.
I know you had a theory. Do you have any theories? Does anybody have theories?
I told you my theory already.
What was your theory? Okay.
She's gonna
Yeah, he
sacrifice
did.
herself.
And
Yeah.
that was that.
And Steve, both of them, both Steve and her are gonna
Kaputs.
kaput.
Okay. What about you?
Okay.
Juan?
Here's my theory. I just made it up. All right. I was thinking about how baby girl has 2 lovers, right? Now she's torn between the kid in college and the kid who got
Oh,
bit.
so the love,
Love. How does it end?
Steve
Steve is gone.
and Jonathan. Yeah.
And that's how 11 survives. That's how 11 survived. The one who got bit, he's gonna sacrifice himself.
But he can't close the portal.
He can't close the portal.
So it's
I mean, but remember, we're saying for some odd reason when he got bit, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, he looked like he got a little stronger. He's biting them back. He's spitting them out like it's nothing. Maybe he got type of powers now. Maybe. We don't know. But I'm just remember, we're just guessing, theories. You know? And again, that love triangle is getting annoying. It's like, your lady, make a choice. You know what I mean?
I think she
Like,
did.
who do you like?
I think she did. I think she did made a for Watergate. I think
Uh-huh.
her choice was made. And
Okay, so
Eddie
now-
and Eddie Munson made a point of that. That was like the most selfless act of love
Yep.
right there. So I
did
think
it without no question. She just
I
jumped
think
right
she
in.
made I think she made her choice without even her realizing it. So
Okay, so one of those dudes gotta die.
yeah, one of them.
One of those dudes
Or
gotta go.
is gonna die. So
Right.
you.
my theory, you might not like it. I think Elle will survive, but there might be some other characters that will die. So who I'm thinking that might die, that might break everybody, it might be Dustin that might die.
Don't you dare.
I only say that because he's such an integral part that he might get himself into danger. Or maybe Steve will protect him because he's so protective of him. He's always babysitting everybody. But I feel like Dustin might die. I feel like Will might die. Eric might die. Like, I feel like 2 or 3 main characters will die because they're trying to protect Elle.
Mhm.
Or, like you said, Elle will be the one to sacrifice to make sure that she saves everybody. So it's either gonna go one or two
Exactly.
ways. It's either Elle gonna die,
Mhm.
and then everybody's gonna live, or
Right.
Elle's gonna live and everybody else gonna die. It's one of the
Oh my
other.
God.
Like everybody else is gonna die.
Look,
You
that's
know,
a scary
so-
theory, Oracle. But I think, like I said, and we can't forget Jim Hopper. I mean, the way he's been
Oh, but
talking
he
in
might
riddles.
sacrifice himself too. He's been looking for a death wish from the get.
No.
Exactly.
Yes,
All
he
those
has.
riddles about maybe this is it and maybe this is that.
no.
Al's gonna be like, you
Absolutely.
did so much for me. You protected me. You were like a father to me. Let me do
I
this.
can't wait till that reunion, bro.
Me
I was
too.
crying with Joyce and him reunited. I was just, I
Yeah.
cannot wait.
I didn't cry,
until-
though.
I'm gonna cry. I'm like crying
I didn't
already.
I ain't crying.
I'm crying
my,
already.
My eyes, I ain't gonna lie, I went like this. I said, hug yo. Let's go. Hug yo. That's you. She came all the way from
saved you,
beautiful
man.
California.
Yeah.
That's your boo.
Yeah.
I mean, put a ring on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, I think like I said what I said. Like I said, that love triangle, it's gonna have to stop eventually.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see.
We're gonna see.
It's gonna be remain to be seen. But
I'm good.
I'm good.
But
yeah.
I also have one more thing to ask. So,
Uh-huh.
what was your favorite part or highlight of season 4?
Max running out the portal when the portal opened up.
Okay.
When that song came on, running up the.
Be running up that road. So
Yep.
that was a highlight.
That was
for
a
you.
highlight.
That was a highlight for you. I
Her
think that
them
was
at the
the most.
cemetery. She's up in the air, the portal open, and she's running. All the things coming down. Classic.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think for me, it might be a stupid part, but I love the light scene with the light bright.
The light bright.
The light bright. And it dates back to season 1 when Will was communicating through the lights. I love that whole situation with the lights and everything. It might be so stupid, but it's just like, it's something like, oh shit, this is interesting. This is creative. These producers are like on the money. So that's like one of the highlights. Me, the story of finally discovering and opening up the story about Vecna. I think that was one of the highlights for me. I really do enjoyed that story coming in full circle. That's like one of the highlights for me. But I have to agree that Mac's story was like, I was breaking my heart. I was like, oh no, she's gonna die.
Yeah. My highlight for me was his boo and his soul, just like he had a reason to live again type energy. When he saw her, he was like, this is his face said it all. Her face said it all, and his face said, like, yo, this can't be real, bro. Like, I'm in a Russian prison. How are you here now in my arms? That feel was awesome, yo. Goosebumps.
I cried at that reunion. I cried at that.
Because, look, she's in California chilling.
I mean, she
that's all
ain't
I'm gonna say.
chilling.
Well, she ain't chilling, but you know.
Yeah.
But he's in Russia. I mean, going through everything and then some. Like, my God, man, when they caught him from the in the church, I was like, oh
my heart broke,
no.
bro. My heart broke.
My heart dropped, yo. But that was my highlight, though. You know, that reunion was so important, and I'm waiting for the next biggest thing. You know what I mean? Of course. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see, yo. So July 1st, tune in. Stranger Things 4, the finale. So moving forward, final segment. I'm gonna just say it. I'm going to the movies to see this movie. The trailer came out. Well, second trailer for Lightyear.
Oh yes.
I'm going to the movie to see that one.
Yeah, who's waiting on that? Everybody.
Yo. Buzz Lightyear talked to, and they're just like, nah, I think I got to go to the theater and see this one. You know, it looks awesome. It looks awesome so far. And what you think about the trailer?
Oh, it's great. It's a great introduction to, again, going back to an origin story and talking about Toy Story and things like that. And I think it's a great introduction to introducing a new character, a new storyline. So I'm excited for it. Super excited for it.
Think.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You know, like anything Disney is good. Anything to do with Toy Story. So it's going to be good. You know, we see the original Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3. That was pretty much Woody's origin. I forgot the end. Forgot his name.
Oh, I forgot. So long ago.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
I think this is going to be. I like the fact that they're basing Buzz Lightyear on a real story.
Right.
Of how Buzz Lightyear got his figure, his action figure.
He's got his action figure.
How he became an action figure.
Love that.
That's amazing. That's
so,
to me.
And just by looking at just by looking at that trailer, I already know how it's going to end.
What's your theory?
I mean,
My theory is he sacrificed himself doing all these missions, and this was his way of remembering him. They made an action hero out of him.
Why you gotta make things so sad? You know what? Disney does that too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're wrong.
you know what I mean?
No.
You know, Bambi. I mean,
Up.
all the stories, Snow White, like everything.
Yeah, that's
everything.
true.
It just has to be like that. And it works.
Thanks
It
for
works really
ruining
well.
Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, thanks.
I haven't seen the new trailer, but I've seen the first one, and just by the song choices and just by seeing what I'm seeing, he was an astronaut. I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Things to be seen. June 7th. Let's go to the next one. What's the next one, Oracle?
Jurassic World. I already brought our
Yep, we
tickets
got our
for next
tickets
week.
ready.
We already got
We're
our
gonna be
tickets
there.
for next week, Friday.
Yep.
Wow.
We waste no time.
We
bro.
wasted no
We
time.
waste no time.
Really?
Shout out to my OG squad because it was like, yo, we getting tickets. I was like, yeah.
Like another one today, we were gonna go watch Top Gun.
Yeah, we were
It
gonna
was
go-
either go watch Top Gun or do the show today because I had to get some sleep. So I was like, we're doing the show today.
So the show was a priority.
Yeah, it definitely was.
We was gonna go last night, but then we were like, I had to go to work. I was like, too close.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when we get a chance, you guys get a chance to see it. We'll talk about it next week. Top Gun, anyway. Amazing.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it next week.
You saw it already?
Yeah.
He saw it already.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, he saw it already.
Amazing.
Everyone be saying that.
Everybody we've encountered
if you love
before.
part
Some
one,
of
you'll
our
love
friends,
part
my
two.
brother watched it. He said it was,
It was
you
freaking
know,
amazing.
they saw the first one before they went the day before.
Okay.
They always said that the first one, it feels like there's no storyline to the first one. It's just
There isn't. There
it gets
wasn't.
towards the last 10 minutes.
Right.
But then this one makes up for that. So it was
okay.
like really good.
Yeah, my brother is a hard critic, man. He's a hard critic, and I'm talking about AK type critic, man.
Damn.
He called me. He said, "Yo, 13." I said, "What?" He said, "Yo, like that." I was like, "Yo, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
for sure.
It has to happen now." You know what I mean? But the movie was awesome. Man. We'll talk about it next week, man.
Yeah,
Shout out
that'll
to
be
Tom
next
Cruise.
week.
Yeah, that'll be-
Kanye West call him TC. Shout out to TC. That's where TC live, right? But we got one more, man. And look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I told you all people are saying, "What the F is this?"
Love and Thunder.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, "That better not ruin this movie." Yeah, just better not. Christian Bale, I'm just a huge fan of Christian Bale. He plays the God Butcher. He's just phenomenal. So I have faith in him. But what did y'all think about that trailer, man? I just got faith in him.
I didn't really see the full trailer. I only saw glimpses and pieces of it.
Yeah.
But like Party J, Jesse Ace, they're all praising it. They can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They're artists, right?
Yeah.
Party J and J. So they're probably thinking about the
comic book,
CGI
the comic book.
movement.
Yeah.
Right, in the comic book.
Right, they're seeing all the characters that are involved, and
Right.
they're excited about it.
There's a different appreciation
Yeah.
for it. So
So I'm excited with Christian Bale's character, the God Butcher.
That's
And what's the
That
name?
guy.
The director came out and said that he will be the most darkest villain in the Marvel universe.
jeez.
Yeah. And I could see that. I could see that. I could see
Christian Bale?
it. Yep.
why
Character,
not?
the God Butcher?
Yep.
Why not?
He says he's gonna be the darkest villain that
Why not?
Marvel
He's the
ever
God
seen.
Butcher. So,
Why not?
Right. Wow.
Hopefully
Because
he's just
Christian-
not hyping us
Because
up.
that would
Christian
rank
Bale,
him.
Christian Bale got range. So why
Yeah,
not?
Absolutely. I mean, like, it looked like he lost. He gains weight when he needs to gain weight. He drops weight when he needs to drop weight. He looked like he's 150, 140.
Right?
You know what I mean? He looks kind of scary.
What do you call them? What do you call them? The method actors.
Method actors, yeah.
But he's a good. I
They
think he's a
fully
good
commit to the character. So.
Right. Be the character. Right?
Yep.
He's a good method actor without people talking bad about him.
Right,
I've
right.
never heard nobody say, "Nah, this guy's horrible." He stays into the character because they had to calm the character so much. They start
Jared
disrespecting
Leto.
people.
Jared Leto in Joker. Yeah, in Suicide Squad.
Some people were like, "Yo, dude, stop."
Like, right, method acting. We've got the point,
like the movie's done. We're good.
Like, switch it, my friend. Thanks.
Oh my God, yo. But Chris, oh man, he's a Ganot. That's just what it is. So that remains to be seen. I think a second trailer came out, but I just got to see the movie at this point, man. I'm gonna see it in the theater regardless because that's a big screen movie.
Yeah.
Regardless, CGI and all. You know what I mean, guys? Before we leave, about to wrap things up. Oracle, you know what to do. Wrap it up.
Are you sure? No, I'm kidding. So I want you guys to tune in for the next episode. We're going to be, keeping our options open because there are so many great new shows, so many movies coming out, especially for the summer. So we want you guys to go out there, comment, let us know, and tell us what we should be talking about. Do you guys have any recommendations for us to see? Is there anything that you want us to talk about? Let us know. We'll talk about it on the show. Don't forget to find Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at 20 Talk 20. Again, 20 Talk is talking about all shows and movies and everything in between. So go back and listen to those episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Anchor. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Breaker Radio. We're on Radio Public. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Pandora. We're on Amazon Music and Castbox. So you can find us on all those platforms and find out where we're going to be dropping those episodes on Fridays. So you better go check us out and don't forget to follow us on YouTube.
Let's get it.
And
Let's get it.
also, we
doing
got
it.
our upcoming list of shows that are out now.
Mm-hmm.
We got The Boys. It's back on Amazon Prime.
Ooh.
We saw the first episode.
The first three
was
episodes
crazy. The first 3 episodes are out.
out, but we saw the first one.
Crazy, insane, love
Insane
it.
in the membrane.
Then we have Then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What?
Disney. Crack, love it.
We'll be talking about that next week.
Ooh.
We got Physical back on Apple TV.
So Physical is with Rose Byrne. If you haven't seen it on season 1 on Apple TV, go back and check it. It's amazing. It's set in the 80s. It's so good. Oh, so good.
And shows that have passed that we love. Moon Knight
Ooh.
on Disney, right?
On Disney.
Severance on Apple TV. Awesome.
I love Severance, but Moon Knight.
What?
Oh, we got to talk. We have to
We'll
talk.
talk about it next week then.
All right. Well, we can't talk about everything next week. We got to spread it out.
Yeah, so,
Okay, that's what she said.
Wrong.
So
Look,
that's
look.
our updated list right now. The things that we watched or are watching now. So
Okay,
tune in.
we'll talk Sunday. We'll set up a new regime. A new movement to what we're gonna talk about for the following week. So for now, this is 20 Talk 20. I'm your boy B.
It's Steph the Oracle.
This your boy Dre.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
See